Welcome to Ifa Stories, where ancient wisdom meets modern storytelling. Step into the sacred tradition of Ifa, rooted in Yoruba land and shaped through centuries of interaction with neighboring West African cultures and preserved in the Lukumi tradition of the diaspora. Here we engage the Ifa divination corpus, the sacred Odu through which Orúnmìlà reveals insight into destiny and moral order, reflected in the lives of Orisha, Irunmole, Awos, communities, and all who seek guidance. These are not distant myths, but living teachings, bridges between past and present, illuminating responsibility, consequence, and the human path. Honor the wisdom. Reflect on destiny. Journey with us into the heart of Ifa. Subscribe and let the stories speak. Learn more at ifastories.com. Introductory note. This retelling draws on a traditional account as presented in Ifism, the complete work of Orúnmìlà, by Mr. C. Osamaro Ibie. The narration and commentary in this presentation are original to Ifa Stories. The head as a divinity. Odu, Ejiogbe. Before the body carried its crown, there was a time in heaven when that order had not yet been established. Before the head stood above the rest, it was itself a divinity apart. And before that sacred place was secured, divination had to speak. Sacrifice had to be made, and a warning had to be obeyed. This is the story of how the head came to dwell permanently upon the body. It is not told as a small event. It is told as a sacred ordering of existence. In this account, the divinities had not yet possessed the bodily form later known among them. The head had not yet taken its place. And because that order had not yet been established, the matter had to pass through divination, ritual instruction, and the fulfillment of what had been reserved. Orúnmìlà sought complete physical form because at that time the divinities had no head. That was the first condition. Ori also stood within a condition of lack. He was told that prosperity would begin for him only after he served his guardian angel with 4 kola nuts. But he did not have the means to buy them. So the story opened with 2 linked conditions, a world without its proper center, and the head itself not yet established in prosperity or place. Amure, Awo Eba Ona, was the Awo who made divination for Ori in heaven. And when Orúnmìlà sought to know how he might obtain complete physical form, he invited Amure to divine for him. Amure instructed Orúnmìlà to raise his palms and pray to receive a head. He also prescribed sacrifice with 4 kola nuts, a clay bowl, a sponge, and soap. Ori also called Amure for divination. He was told to serve his guardian angel with 4 kola nuts, and he was informed that prosperity would begin for him only after that service had been made. But the instruction given to Orúnmìlà did not end with sacrifice. He was told to place the kola nuts upon his Ifa shrine without breaking them, because another visitor, not yet arrived, would later break them. That warning carried weight. The kola nuts were not to be touched in haste. They were not to be given over to whoever appeared first. They had been preserved for a later fulfillment. Orúnmìlà completed the sacrifice that had been prescribed for him and left the 4 kola nuts on his shrine exactly as he had been told. After this, Eshu proclaimed in heaven that Orúnmìlà had 4 beautiful kola nuts at his shrine and sought one fit to break them. Then the danger began to unfold. The divinities came to Orúnmìlà one after another, with Ogun leading them. But to each one, Orúnmìlà said that he was not strong enough to break the kola nuts. Because of this, they felt slighted, and they withdrew in annoyance. Even Orisha and La came, but Orúnmìlà received him with other and better kola nuts, telling him that the ones in question were not meant for him. Orisha and La accepted the fresh kola nuts and departed. And still the ones kept on the shrine remained unbroken. At last, Ori resolved to go to Orúnmìlà, being the only divinity who had not yet tried to break the mysterious kola nuts, and still unable to afford the ones required for service to his guardian angel. He rolled to the house of Orúnmìlà. When Orúnmìlà saw Ori approaching, he went out to meet him, lifted him up, and brought him inside. He took the clay bowl, filled it with water, and washed Ori with the sponge and the soap. After drying him, Orúnmìlà carried Ori to the shrine and asked him to break the kola nuts that had long been kept for him. Ori gave thanks for the honor shown to him. With the kola nuts, he first prayed for Orúnmìlà, that whatever he undertook would come to fulfillment and manifestation. Meaning that whatever Orúnmìlà undertakes should come into visible completion. Then he prayed for himself, that he would obtain a permanent abode and many followers. Meaning that Ori should be firmly established and that many should gather around him. After this, Ori rolled backward and hurled himself against the kola nuts. They split open with a loud report that was heard throughout heaven. When the other divinities heard the sound, they knew that the kola nuts on Orúnmìlà's shrine had at last been broken. Eshu then declared that Ori had broken them, and the divinities agreed that the head was the one rightly fitted to do it. What had been preserved in silence was now made known openly. What had been guarded through warning was now confirmed before the whole company of heaven. Immediately afterward, the hand, the feet, the body, the stomach, the chest, the neck, and the rest, each of which had formerly stood with its own separate identity, gathered together and chose to live with the head. They lifted the head above themselves, and there at the shrine of Orúnmìlà, the head was established as king of the body. Because Orúnmìlà had a decisive part in the fortune of the head is said to bow to the ground in deference to him. And it is for the same reason that Orúnmìlà, though counted among the younger divinities, is held to be greater and more widely honored than the others. So the story leaves behind a new order. The head above, the rest gathered around it, and the body no longer without its center. And the story does not end in heaven alone. For the son of Ejiogbe to live long on earth, he must seek a knowledgeable Awo who will prepare special bathing soap for him on the skull of any animal. Ejiogbe is the patron divinity of the head, because it was he in heaven who performed the sacrifice that made the head king of the body. Ejiogbe is also identified as the most senior Olodu, or apostle of Orúnmìlà on earth, though originally among the most junior, and as one of the second generation of prophets who came into this world to improve it by example. What is reserved by sacrifice is not fulfilled by every hand that reaches for it. It is fulfilled by the one appointed for it. And when the rightful center is established, the rest can finally take their proper place around it.